What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is a new show alert, okay? This is going to be a review of House on Fire. Now, what House on Fire is, it is on the WoW app, which is the RuPaul WoW Presents Plus. It has a lot of RuPaul content on it. This show, first of all, I have no idea why it is on the WoW Presents app. I feel like, and I don't know the backstory. I'm sure before it's over, we'll get the whole backstory on it. But I feel like this was originally filmed, like maybe they were trying to shop it to like MTV, maybe even Paramount Plus, and maybe they just decided to pass on it, and so it's coming out on the WoW app. But first of all, it looks so pretty. I don't know why I can't get that word out. It looks so pretty. It looks so well shot. It is such a great show. I've looked at the first episode. I'm getting ready to pick up the second episode, but I wanted to drop my review here and then go into the second episode. Y'all know I don't like blending episodes. So let me give you guys what the premise is. It is a reality-based show that follows the house of Miyake Mugler. For those who don't know, when we talk about houses, think of Legendary meets Pose, right? It's like a real-time Pose. And if those of you who have not watched Pose, I implore you, go back and watch all seasons of Pose. I think it was maybe 5 seasons altogether. It's probably streaming on maybe Hulu. I don't think it's on Netflix, but check both. But it was originally on FX. Maybe, I don't know where it's streaming, but I know it's streaming somewhere. But Pose gives you like the early years, the 80s, 90s of houses. This is the modern day where houses are today. Some of the faces are going to be familiar if you follow these things. If you watch the Legendary, if you did watch Pose, like some of the faces will be familiar to you. Certainly some of the names. So let me go back a little bit. Tati, Lolita, I have been following them since Vice did a show called My House. And this was years ago. Oh my gosh, this was maybe 8 years ago, maybe. That it was on Vice. And it was a docuseries. And it was following some of the people who were in-house at various stages. Some were in houses, some weren't in houses. That's when I found out what a 007 was. And at the time, what's interesting is that Tati had just left. I want to say it was the House of Mugler at the time. And she was a 007. She was still walking in balls, but she was walking independently. We also met Lolita at the time, who had just moved to New York. She was originally from DC, so that's why I was like, that's my DC homegirl. And she is cisgendered, so she is a natural born woman, and that makes her unique in the ballroom scene, right? Not the only one. Please don't nobody put that in my comments, okay? I said unique. Now, if you watched the first season of Legendary, you saw Lolita along with Honey Balenciaga. They were the 007s that came in and did the challenge like on the final episode or the next to last episode. And Lolita has that infamous scene where she pulls the cape. Okay, that's Lolita. We saw Lolita come back in the last season of Legendary. She was a part of the Kiki House Juicy Couture. That is where we met Brooklyn. And so if you go back to Legendary, you can see, and Tati was also competing that season with the House of Mugler. Miyake Mugler. So House on Fire follows the House of Miyake Mugler and the ups and the downs and the ins and the outs of modern house, right? So let's talk about the people of the people. So the first, we open up and we meet, Tati, Brooklyn, and Lolita. And I just kind of gave you guys a background on them. Then we meet Yusef. Yusef is the overall father. He is also a celebrity hairstylist. But he is the overall father. And we meet Exotic, who is the overall mother. And we meet Chanel. Now, the three of them are out having lunch, and they're discussing the upcoming balls and who's going to walk and who isn't going to walk. And we find out that Roz, who was in Atlanta finishing up his engineering degree, is moving. Well, he's coming to New York, maybe not moving permanently, but coming to New York. And he's going to be staying with Tati and staying with Chanel. We found out that the last time that Roz and Tati were around each other, baby, it got physical, okay? They got into an argument, and Tati actually slapped him across his face in front of everybody. And they haven't really spoken since. So it's going to be interesting to see how they sort of are going to be in the same space, be in each other's space with whatever happened. You know, are we going to press through it and figure out what happened with them, right? So we have that. Yusef is also talking about the upcoming balls. He was like, listen, if Roz is going to be up here, Roz might as well walk, okay? The one thing that the house of Mugler is considered to be one of the dominant, preeminent top houses in modern, in the modern house scene. So the people win the things, right? They win the trophies. They win the money. So they're talking about that, and they were like, the last ball they lost by like 1 point, and they got to show up and show out kind of thing. Then we go to Chanel and Tati's apartment. We see them getting the apartment together for Roz to show up. Now Roz shows up, and baby, Roz has on this Party City wig. Now why does Roz have on this Party City wig? We don't know. Okay. But he seems to be very, defensive about them clowning this wig. He felt some kind of way about them clowning him in this wig. Now, I don't know what it was about this wig. He was going for something different. He was giving them a moment. I don't know. But I found it to be very interesting that none of them addressed, in my opinion, it was the elephant in the room. Like, if the last time I saw you, we was getting physical, then we need to have a conversation about that, right? Especially before you lay your head down in my house. Like, I wouldn't even feel comfortable laying my head down in your house if we ain't cleared the air. Now, I get it. They're siblings. They probably do these things. They argue, whatever. But I'm all about resolution, okay? Yes, that happened, this happened, and that happened. But how we coming back together? How we going to make it work? How we going to come back around? Okay. So, with that being said, they kind of talk, like they kind of, was just talking, and Chanel is going to have a dinner party to just sort of sit down with the house. She's going to invite, overall mother, overall father over to the house so they can talk about some house business, right? They got to get into some things about these upcoming balls and figure some things out. So next we see where everybody is kind of getting together except for Yusef and Exotic. I was going to say, I called her erotic. I called him erotic. Exotic. We see them getting together to just talk, figure it out. And we find out that at the upcoming latex ball, which is a huge, I want to go to the latex ball. It is a huge, huge ball. They're not going to have any of Brooklyn's categories. Brooklyn wants to be legendary. Brooklyn says, hey, I know this is where I want to go. I want to become legendary. And they not even have any of my categories. Brooklyn normally does drag performance and something else she was saying. But she was like, they're not even having my categories at this ball. So she was feeling some kind of way about that. And then Tati was like, well, I'm walking, she said she's going to do her normal walk. What she normally walks. She said there's some other people in the house that want to do it, but I'm not going to say who. And Roz was like, well, who? And Tati was like, I'm not going to say. And it turned into a whole argument, a whole back and forth between Roz and Tati. Roz was like, why? Like, we're all in the same house. Why does it matter? Like, who are you keeping it a secret from? Like, it's not like we're sitting here amongst people that are in other houses. And, Tati was like, well, listen, that's not my business to tell. If they want you to know what they walk in, they'll tell you. And, I'm just not putting it out there. You know how, they want to gag the girls. They want to, show up. Now, I think that was a moment of Tati being conscious of the camera. Because I understood why Roz was like, what's the big deal? Like, I didn't ask a question. Like, I didn't ask you to violate anybody's, we're all in a house. We're talking about who's walking. We're talking about the categories. This is what we're here for, right? So why can't I know who's walking and what? But I think that Tati was like, basically, I'm not saying that on camera. Like, I don't want to put that information out like, basically, I feel like we agreed to do this show and we agreed to talk our business and tell what we needed to tell, but the other people didn't. They're not here, and I'm not putting their business out. Now, in the grand scheme of things, for people outside of the house and ballroom may not feel like it's a big deal like me. I'm like, what's the big deal? But the fact that a lot of people were sort of siding with Tati makes me feel like it was justified, and they understood why she wasn't saying anything. But then Roz did exactly what I said a few minutes ago. Roz went to, well, she hasn't, I mean, the last time I was with her, she smacked me in my face in front of everybody, and she hasn't even apologized. She hasn't even acknowledged it. And I was like, see, now we're dealing with the real issue, because even though I didn't understand what the issue was, I also didn't understand why Roz went from 0 to 100 either. But now I do understand, because you're upset about something else. Like, you're upset about more than what's being said, and so is Tati, right? Now, they basically ended up de-escalating. Lolita was like, I'm the balance here. I'm the one that makes everything, So she was like, come on, y'all, let's battle it out. And of course, they just started dancing. And before it was over, Roz was sort of smiling and Tati was dancing. And, they were kind of doing what they do. And Lolita was like, listen, we're a house. We're siblings. We're going to argue. We're going to fuss. But at the end of the day, it's love. And we work it out. That's just, it is what it is. Then we meet we meet Miss Lena. Now, Lena is that bitch. Okay? And what I found to be so funny is, if you go back, or if anybody remembers my house, or if you go back to my house, and I'm sure you can find it. I know Vice streams on Hulu. I do know that because I've been watching the wrestling show that comes on Vice or whatever. So I know that streams on Hulu. You could probably find my house on Hulu. What's funny is Tati on my house is Lena on this show. Because Lena left the house of Mugler, didn't really say anything. She got mad, felt like she wasn't being respected, and she left. And she was that bitch. Well, Tati was that bitch at the time in the house, and she didn't feel like she was being respected, and she didn't feel like she was being appreciated, and so she left. I think the difference was, I do think Lena, a little bit, because Lena's been she's the first trans woman to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated. She's walked runways. Like, she definitely is making her mark in the fashion world / modeling world, right? But she was like, I miss ballroom. I miss my house. I miss ballroom, and I want to come back. So we see her have a conversation with Exotic, the overall mother, and she's saying, listen, I want to come back. Now, Exotic's thing is, you my girl. And if it's up to me, you already know you got a place here. Like, if it's up to me, you can come back. But girl, you already know the way you left. Like, you ghosted me. And you left the way you left. And so you got some conversation. You need to have some conversations with some people. Like, I can't make that decision, but you have my vote. You have my support. However, I really don't appreciate how I went down. I don't appreciate how you kind of came at me, and I don't appreciate how I went down. So she was like, what you mean I didn't ghost you? I didn't do this. And he was like, girl, stop playing. Yes, you did. Like, you did. Like, stop. So we see where that's going to be some conflict. We'll get to a little bit more of that in a minute. Then we also meet... Hold on. Let me go to my notes, Sean. And she left 3 years ago, child. So it's been a minute. Okay. Then we meet AJ. Now, AJ is a teacher. He has a master's degree. He currently teaches middle school social studies. Shout out to the social studies teachers. But he wants to become a part of the house of Mugler. And he has been reaching out to Yusuf, the overall father. And Yusuf, it's almost like when you want to, pledge a fraternity or sorority, you got to let somebody know you're interested. And then they kind of say, okay, well, this is what I need you to do. I need you to do this, this, and this to position yourself in the right way, to meet the right people. So when it comes time to make the decision, they know who you are, they like you, and they see you, that you come around, kind of thing. And so he said, well, listen, we're going to have this dinner. I'm going to invite you to the dinner because it'll be some people there that you can have some conversations with. You can ask the questions. They can ask you the questions. I ain't making you no promises, but, I'm going to see how I can position you, right? So what was funny was we saw Yusef and we saw Exotic come together. Now remember, they're the overall mother and the overall father of the house of Miyake Mugler. Baby, Exotic is telling Yusef, listen, Lena wants to come back to the house, and Yusef is like, hell no, to the no. He said, if it's up to me, the answer is and will forever be no. Because not only did she leave and I didn't like why she left and how she left, but I also don't appreciate the way she did it. Well, I just said that. Because she went public. She posted on her social media. She, basically made it a private situation, a public situation. And then, of course, Yusef said, I responded because I feel like I had to defend myself and defend my house. And it didn't need to be that because it became a big thing in the community. And, I just didn't appreciate that she put us out there like that, like we did something to her. Well, come to find out what had happened was there was a ball. And at the ball, somebody who is a member of the House of Mugler, a newer member, younger member, who looked up to her, who was probably awestruck by her, spoke to her, and basically she gave that person her ass to kiss. So that person felt disrespected and responded, probably cussed her out, called her all kinds of whatever and whoever and whatevers. And Lena, went to Yusef and Exotic and wanted that person put out the house. And they were like, no, we're not going to do that. Like, people argue, families fight, but we're not throwing that person away because you don't like the fact that they cussed you out. When, you got nasty with them and they responded. That's a conversation that we can sit down and have, but that is not you got to go, you're no longer welcome here. Like, we're not going to do that. And so because she felt like they didn't respond the way she wanted them to respond, she left. And that was the conflict. Well, after Yusef let Exotic know, he said, listen, we can have the conversation. You could bring it back to, you could take it to the house, but my vote is no. But, we'll when we have dinner, we'll have the conversation and we'll let everybody know, let everybody can tell us how they feel. But then Yusef had to let Exotic know, well, there's somebody that, I want to bring up to you. There's somebody that's interested in becoming a part of the house. And, I told them to come to dinner and that, we would have to talk to them. Well, come to find out, Mr. AJ and Mr. Exotic have a history. They had an entanglement. They used to date. Now, they were never officially boyfriend and boyfriend. However, they did date. And Exotic was like, well, he could have been the one. Like, I really was feeling him. And I really wanted to make that thing work. And I feel like he could have been the one. So, both of them have a feeling about this other person they want to bring around. So, we get to the dinner. Child, Tati does apologize to Roz. So, now, did she apologize because she really meant it, or did she apologize so she could just move on? I don't know. Time will tell. But she did apologize, and Roz accepted, and they tore that food up. Okay, I don't know what they was cooking. I don't know what they was talking about how nervous they were. They had salmon and asparagus, and it looked like they halfway knew what they were doing, but they were nervous and they were kind of like it didn't look horrible. But it definitely looked like they probably could have practiced a little bit. But it looked nice. They had wine. They had gone to the wine store to taste some wine and things of that nature. Now, let me just go through this. So, Brooklyn is a natural-born man, but presents as a woman. From the trailer, it looks like Brooklyn is getting ready to start her transition, right? So, Tati and Chanel are trans women. They are natural-born men, but they are trans women. They have transitioned. Roz is natural-born. He's a gay man. I just want to go through who we know. Okay, I don't know the other people, so I don't want to speak on other people. So. And some people might say, why is that important? It's only important to the conversation because we're dealing with the LGBTQIA community, okay? I'm not bringing it up as anything negative. Please don't put nothing like that in my comments. Okay. So we get to dinner. Everybody shows up for dinner. And AJ shows up. Now, nobody else there knows AJ except for Yusuf and Exotic. And they sort of do this, awkward, clumsy hug situation. Now, Exotic say he got a man. However, Exotic was like, but AJ look good. Like, he look good. Like, he look good. Like, ooh, he look good. So I'm like, got my eye on you. Chanel got to flirting with AJ as well. And Exotic was like, baby, you barking up the wrong tree. Like, that ain't gonna work. But okay, girl, do your best. Try, shoot your shot, kind of thing. Then Exotic brings up Lena wanting to come back to the house. Brooklyn was like, hell no. And it makes me wonder if Brooklyn is the one that got into the conflict with Lena. But then Brooklyn said, I don't know her. So I don't know. But Brooklyn's response was so quick and so hard, it made me wonder if Brooklyn was the person. But Brooklyn said no, that she heard what happened. So I'm like, okay, then I guess it wasn't her. Chanel said no, because she was like, she was a bitch, and the way she left, and the fact that she was shown so much favoritism and basically told everybody to kiss her ass, she just felt it's just disrespectful. She said, a lot of us don't get that same attention. We don't get that same, support. And she got it and then still told everybody to kiss her ass. So, I'm not open to it. Roz is open to it. And, of course, Exotic is open to it. Yusuf is a no. So, they didn't finish the conversation. I mean, it was sort of like we're going to see what it is. But no final decision was made. But that was pretty much the first episode. Now, the first 2 episodes, let me make sure, y'all. So, the first 2 episodes have dropped on the app. Now, the first one is available for free on YouTube if you want to just go check it out. And then the app is like $4.99 a month. I don't know how many episodes there are. They're going to stream it. But, y'all, you can pay $4.99 to go check it out. I mean, you might find it. You might got a back door, but I'm just saying. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace.